Both sides of a story. Both sides of a story. Knowledge is power. Classes in session. Hour 106. I have to live with myself, and so I want to be fit for myself to know. I want to be able, as days go by, always to look myself straight in the eye. I don't want to stand with the setting sun and hate myself for the things I have done. I don't want to keep on a closet shelf a lot of secrets about myself and fool myself as I come and go into thinking no one else will ever know the kind of person I really am. I don't want to dress up myself in sham. I want to go out with my head erect. I want to deserve all men's respect. But here in the struggle for fame and wealth, I want to be able to like myself. I don't want to look at myself and know that I am bluster and bluff and empty show. I never can hide myself from me. I see what others may never see. I know what others may never know. I never can fool myself, and so, whatever happens, I want to be self-respecting and conscience-free. It is Monday, the 7th of October, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to both sides of the story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Sammy Davis Jr., I Gotta Be Me. And before that, the poetry of Edgar Albert Guest, Myself. We thank you once again for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM as we look forward to this afternoon's edition of Land Solutions. Stand by for that if you have any questions, any issues, any concerns with respect to land related matters. Get ready because Land Solutions will get going not too long from now. So stand by for that. And later on, when we open the lines for your questions as well in general terms and your issues and concerns. It is both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, and we look forward to taking your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. And we wanted as well to give you a quick look at what's been happening weather-wise. Hurricane Milton upgraded to Category 5 as Florida locals evacuate homes ahead of 160 mile per hour winds. And there's information on the timeline. Information is that public officials have already called for evacuations with yet another hurricane set to hit Florida. The state's governor has also declared a state of emergency for several counties as southeastern U.S. states continue to recover from the devastating effects of Hurricane Helene. Florida must now brace itself for another major tropical storm. According to the National Hurricane Center, Hurricane Milton will reach the west coast of the Florida Peninsula as soon as midweek of this week, October 7. So there's a lot happening within the region and on the outside of the region. So Hurricane Milton's risk factor for prompting a life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds continue to increase, and such devastating effects will impact portions of the Florida Peninsula's west coast. More in a moment. We're sharing before we winds continue to increase and such devastating effects will impact portions of the Florida Peninsula's west coast. This is expected to begin late tomorrow, October 8th, or early October 9th. The National Hurricane Center reports that sometime before Hurricane Milton is expected to make landfall, Florida will experience areas of heavy rainfall on Monday, that's today, later on Tuesday, tomorrow, and Wednesday evening. The rainfall will bring the risk of considerable flash, urban, and aerial flooding, along with the potential for moderate to major river flooding. That's the official word so far from the National Hurricane Center based in Miami, Florida. Additionally, parts of the northern Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico are expected to endure tropical storm and hurricane conditions. Storm watches are in effect. And will also produce rainfall totals of 2 inches across parts of the northern Yucatan Peninsula. So interests, whether within or without, have reason to pay attention to what's forecast to happen. We'll see how it goes. We also take note of the motor vehicle crashes over the weekend. Not a good look at all. Not a good look. And we trust that there is a plan going forward to keep down those numbers. Some serious crashes at that. Very serious. But those of us who are in a position to make a difference, let's do it. In the meantime, we continue with more here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. And a reminder that coming up at 2:30, it will be time for Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. And we look forward to the usual schedule of taking your calls and your messages. 876-922-4112 and the text line, well, that's a text line. The WhatsApp number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. That's coming up on Land Solutions. And we'll continue the discussions on these matters within the next few minutes here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. So once again, make a note of the concerns and the issues that you have and be ready for your calls. 876-922-4112 and the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. So we'll keep it going and looking out for your messages and taking your calls as we go along to get your messages and to have the answers from the team from the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. That's coming up shortly. In the meantime, we're just a few minutes away from opening the wide gates of your calls. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. So spread the word and let it be known that the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is standing by to take the calls and the messages and seek to respond in due course. So looking forward to that, as usual, with our friends from the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. As we continue with more on both sides of the story here on Paro 106 FM. And a reminder of the theme song for this afternoon. As we continue with more on both sides of the story, Paro 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4115. That's 876-922-4115. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number. And taking those messages in a little while here on both sides of the story, Paro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and live on your smart devices all over the world. 876-922-4112-5 and 876-365-3346. As we continue with both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Looking out for those messages, listening out for the calls, and obliging. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. As we continue with more on your program, both sides of the story, on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, and continuing to take your calls and your messages, coming up on today's edition of Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. That's coming up at 2:30 on this Monday afternoon. And so be sure to check in with your friends, relatives, neighbors, and those who have an interest as far as land-related matters are concerned. Stand by, because we're coming to you in a matter of seconds, actually. So let's send it to our technical team as we get ready for today's edition of Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. 411225, and the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. There's more. After the break, it will be time for today's edition of Land Solutions.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Looking to add a touch of elegance to your room? The Lighting World by Fosrich is having a massive lighting blowout sale. Get your wall lamps, chandeliers, ceiling lamps, fans, and more at amazingly low prices. Sale begins Sunday, September 29th. 50% off selected items. It's the Fosrich Lighting Blowout Sale. September 29th. Shop and save only at Fosrich. Open Sundays.
It's Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that time for Land Solutions. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. You've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-9411225, and the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Let's say hello, good afternoon, and welcome to a very special lady, attorney at law, Gloria Brown. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dervan, and good afternoon to the listeners.
Thank you so much. It's really good to have you join us on this week's edition of Land Solutions.
Yes, Dervan. Thanks so much, and thanks for the support from all the listeners and from the station as well.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, in the meantime, let's continue. So, let's go ahead. Ready for you. Ready for your. Yes.
Thank you, Dervan.
Okay.
So, listeners, you can give me a call if you have anything related to land matters. Any matter, if you want to buy land, sell land, you have a dispute in relation to land, you want to get a title for land, you want to deal with a will, probate, administer your estate, anything land related, give me a call. The number is 4112-411325, 876-924-411325. Those are the numbers you can call if you want to speak to me directly. If you want to send me a message via WhatsApp or a text message, please send that message to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. That's the WhatsApp or text line if you want to send a message. remember we have an office in Ocho in the Jamaica National Building, or in halfway between the Chester Business Center. You can just give me a call, 387-3183 afterwards, or send me a WhatsApp message. But to speak to me now, the number is 9241135. I remember my name is Flora. I want to talk to persons a little bit today. I've seen some issues arising, and I spoke about this particular piece of legislation some time ago, the Property Rights of Spouses Act, which is a piece of legislation that speaks about what will happen to family property. And I've had persons who have been saying, will come into the office when I explain to them that you have bought a property, you are living there with your spouse, and the gentleman or the lady will say, but that spouse did not help me to buy. But as long as you move that spouse into your property and the property is in your name alone, then the spouse is entitled to a half of the property on the face of it. The court would say otherwise, because we have seen instances where the court has said the other party is not to get a half, they have to get less, they have to get a quarter, they have to get, maybe a third, etc. So that can take place as well. But there's a presumption that the other person owns a half. If you don't want that to happen when you enter into a relationship, or even during the relationship already, or before you enter, you can do a prenuptial agreement where each of you must have independent legal advice. So my husband and I, so I have a property and he's going to come in to live with me. I can do a prenuptial agreement to say that he's not to get any of the assets I have, and he will say the same thing, I'm not to get any of his assets. And the agreement can say that any assets we acquire during the marriage, we will share, etc. Even if you have entered into the agreement, even if you are already married and living there, you can also get to a post-nuptial agreement, an agreement after you are married, after you have established a relationship, where you determine what is to happen. One important feature of that is that each party must have independent legal advice. So one spouse must get a separate, one lawyer, and the other spouse must get another lawyer. You can't have the same lawyer advising both of you. That's very, very important. And then the agreement is put in writing. And then it will be binding unless you can show to the court why it should not be binding. So you can do that as well. Or another thing, if the property is not bought in your name alone, so you have a property in your name and your mother's name, and you have moved the spouse to live in it, then the spouse cannot claim that it is family home, because then it's not in your name alone. And this, the act says, the Property Rights of Spouses Act says that the property must be in the name of one party. Or if it's in the name of both parties, then you can share it as that. But if it's in your name and your daughter's name, or your son's name, or anybody, or your sibling's name, then it will not amount to family home. And another thing, if you don't want it to amount to family home as well, don't live in it. So you start the relationship, maybe you need to rent out that property and go and rent another one to live in. All of those things you need to consider, because we see a lot of bad blood in relation to family properties. Sometimes the marriage is break down in such a short time, and then one person owns the property and the other one is coming to. It's like that the court will look at it and might say the marriage was of short duration, there was no child in the marriage, the person bought the property, they bought it alone, or it was given to them by their relatives. The court will look at all of that. But remember, it starts at half and half. Please keep that in mind. It starts at 50-50, and it's for the court to say otherwise. And remember that is if you live in the property with your spouse. And remember, the spouse is not just your husband or your wife. The spouse is a single man living with a single woman 5 years before. 5 years up to the time when the claim is being made. If you want to send me a text message, want to call me on here now, it's 876-922-411325. Also, I want to encourage persons. I always say we are a people of oral tradition. We love to talk, but we don't love to write. And I want to encourage persons. For example, and this is particularly for persons living outside of Jamaica. If you're a relative who is getting aged, or you're getting a little bit older, and you want to get a caretaker for them, I'm encouraging you to put everything in writing. Get an arrangement, even if your auntie or your cousin or your niece, put something in writing to say that the person is there to look after your parents. And when the parents should pass on, don't just leave the caretaker living on the property indefinitely. Put something in place. if you're going to leave the caregiver to look after the property, enter into a rental agreement. Even to say the caregiver is going to pay you $1 a year, or you're going to pay the caregiver to look after the property. You need to do things like that. Because remember, persons can claim adversely against your property. Very, very important. Like caregiver you might be abroad getting busy working your many jobs and etc. Caregiver is on the property. Caregiver after 12 years might want to put in a claim. So everything put in writing. If your property, put something in writing. And don't tell the people we are blessed to take care of your house that they must pay the taxes because they live in here. Pay your own taxes. Or if you're going to get them to do that, put it in writing. But I'm begging first. They don't need to even get an expensive agreement done. Just get something right signed by a JC or somebody witnessing to say, I, Dora Brown, give permission to so and so to occupy my property from such and such, and give it a time period and renew it. They just give them to occupy the property for 2 years. Then when the 2 years pass, to another one for another 2 years. And that's why we have the old people talking about all the time, peppercorn rent. That's something that we need to make use of, or peppercorn rent. Let them pay $1 a year. As I said before, even if your mother is on the property, you have to be cautious because your mother might not want to take it away. But mama might pass, and your brothers and sisters might say, Mama, only when she was alive because she was here undisturbed for a certain period. So therefore, mama passed belongs to all mama's children. And you might find that you are tied up in court with your siblings or with your whoever it is there who was there. So I'm begging persons, let us be very, very formal in terms of land matters because land is extremely valuable and I want those outside of Jamaica to realize that land is extremely valuable in Jamaica, which is why I encourage my clients. Don't want a little piece of family land, sort it out. Sort it out, sell it where you can invest the money where you are living, but don't just leave it alone to just like follow because remember that a lot of our relatives who were there before us, they worked long and hard to acquire property. They worked long and hard in a time when it was not the norm for the ordinary Jamaican. Remember, that in order to vote, you had to own. The aim was to make property ownership extremely difficult, so the average Jamaican was unable to vote. So that's something that I want us to be aware of. So I'm encouraging you, if you have a piece of property and you want to get a title for it, just send me a WhatsApp message. All you have to do is say title. That's the only word you're going to WhatsApp me. Title, and you're going to send the WhatsApp message to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. This person is asking, what's the cost for a sale agreement to sell a piece of land? It depends. It depends on how much you're selling the piece of land for. But I find that the standard rate for most sales agreements I've seen are costing like 100,000, 120,000 or things like prices in that range. Yeah, but it depends because if somebody's selling a piece of land for like $2 million, I find it a little difficult to say the agreement is for a big amount. It really depends on that. It's an expensive property selling for 50 million or so. You might go for 400 and odd thousand because remember it's a greater road. You might go to different lawyers and get different charges, different prices. There's no fixed cost in terms of the cost for preparing an agreement for sale. Okay, but remember, we encourage you to get an attorney and don't just enter into an agreement and say, you're going to sell Mr. Brown that piece of land for $5 million. Know your cost first. Know the cost of the agreement. Know the lawyer's cost. Know all of those. Because you might find that you expect to get $5 million in your hand and you end up with 4.5 and think you're disappointed. Please remember the number to call 876-922-4113 and the text line is 387-3183. A text message. If you and your spouse have lived together for more than 5 years and a will was made that includes the children protecting the spouse, can the spouse still claim half of everything? When you say a will was made that if both of you are alive, then the spouse can go to court now. It's the type is in your name alone. You are living with your spouse. And remember, if you're married to the person, you don't have to be living with them for 5 years. You can be living with them for a day. It's just that you have to live with them for 5 years. If you're not married to them for them to be spouse. So a lot of times persons get a little bit confused about that. So as soon as you're married to the man and you move him into the house, he's entitled to a half. If you live with him for 5 years, after 5 years, he's now a spouse, he's entitled to a half. Okay, so if you have lived together as man and wife, then, and you can't just say, hey, the children must get the property. As long as you are alive, the spouse can take the matter to court, and the court can say, hey, a half is for the court unless you submit for the spouse, unless you can say otherwise. If you have willed it and you die and the spouse does not make a claim in your lifetime, then you will go to whoever you have willed it to, but again, the spouse can also go to court for the court to change your will. Because remember, we have a law called inheritance. After I'm going to look at that a little bit, to discuss that a little further with you after this break. We're up on a break. I'm Gloria Brown, and this is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. The Caribbean Maritime University, an ISO certified institution, offers Bachelor of Science degrees in cruise shipping, Bachelor of Engineering degrees, logistics, marine tourism, port management, security administration and management, and more. For further information, call 876-924-8150, 876-924-8175, or email info@cmu.edu.jm.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're still taking your calls on 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. And of course, the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center in Halfway Tree. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. All are encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up at the law firm of Brown, Findlay and Company. For the moment, let's hand you over once again to Attorney at Law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. I said I would speak about the common rights of the Inheritance Act, because the person sent the text message and saying a will can be made that exempt the spouse, and then the spouse can claim. Under the Inheritance Act, if a person makes a will and does not need provision for the person can bring an action in court asking the court to change your will after you have died. Let me just put it as simple as that. To change the will. The court won't just take it. So, for example, you made a will years ago and then you had a child after you made the will. You died and never made any provision for this child, and you have now died, and the child wasn't included in the will because you didn't take time out to change the will. That child can take the matter to court and ask the court to change, to vary the will to make provision for him or her. Or a spouse would say that my spouse has died and has left nothing for me, and ask the court to vary the will. The court will not just get up and change a person's will. The court will look to see what you died with, what the person was making the claim has for themselves. Was the person dependent on you? Were you supporting that person while you were alive? Why is it that you did not make provision for that person? The court will look into a number of things before making a decision to vary your will. So you might say, I'm leaving nothing for the spouse, but the spouse has that right to take the matter to court and ask the court to vary the will. That's something you need to consider. Please remember that the number to call 924-1135 and the line 387-3183. And in a note, I'm not sure who it is that the Milton, the hurricane heading to Florida is 200 miles per hour, a category 5. May the Lord have mercy. That is all we can say. May the Lord have mercy. Another text line. Good day. If you own a piece of land and the title is in your name, and you do a subdivision and you want to put all the title in your name, would you have to pay 2% of the stamp duty? No. You pay no. That 2% 2% is not stamp duty, 2% is transfer tax. Stamp duty, that's not 5%. But if you are doing a surrender and you want to get the printer title in your name, it does not even go to the stamp office. It goes straight to the title office, straight from your lawyer, straight to the title office. No stamp duty, no transfer tax. Because you are doing a surrender and the title is going in your name. Suppose you ask for the title now to come out in your children's name, then at that stage you are going to have to do. You're going to pay the transfer tax. Or you could get a waiver because you can show that they are your relation. They are related. But when you are getting it in your name, it does not even pass through the stamp office. It's a surrender, not a transfer. How much does it cost to do a title is going to depend on the value. And when you say how much it costs to do a title, are you talking about the single title or you're talking about a property where there is no title at all? And when there's no title at all, it's going to depend on the value of the property, where the property, the size of the property. All of those things will impact the cost of your title application. And if it is a surrender to get the printers again, so that's going to be dependent on that. And also, you're going to find that you're not just paying to get the title, you're going to have to pay to get the deposit plan. That is the deposit plan. That is, suppose you have a survey plan that shows all the 5 different plots on the one plan. Then you have to deposit that plan in the title of it and wait to get a deposit plan number before the lawyer can start filtering. Or maybe you just survey each lot and have a little diagram for each, then you don't have to pay the deposit cost. So a lot of things will be dependent on what exactly you're doing. Please remember to continue to send to the text messages. The text line is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. Hi, good day. I was listening to radio and heard you talking about land. But that is not for me, but my sister. She was married, she gave a house on her husband's land. So they are separated. He's by the house. What claim can she make? Well, it's advised a little late for her, but for those who have not made that mistake yet, please do not make the mistake of building on family land unless you're building family home. She's going to have to take the matter to court, and things that I've always said, title is for land, not home. Title is for land. And it was that I say his grandfather's land. So therefore it's not my land, so you can't get a claim. But since he's living there, you need to go and get a lawyer, get a family lawyer, or a land lawyer, take the matter to court for the court to make a determination. Okay, and I save up persons, your name not on the title, do not build anything, do not add to the gentleman or the lady's house, your name not on the title. Your name is, do not put your hard-earned money in building anything on anybody's house, and that applies to children as well. Do not put any upstairs on mama's house. Because when mama dies and does not make a will, the property belongs to the 10 children, including the upstairs you have put on. Because the title is for land, it's not for home. So whoever owns the land is going to own everything on the land. That's something that's very, very important for us to realize. Very, very, very important for you to realize, that title is for land. So therefore, anything you put on the land is going to be owned. Anything you put on the land is going to be owned by everybody. So that's something I want you to be aware of. So tell your sister, get a lawyer, go to court, and see the court will investigate the matter and determine that your sister, the husband, is to give your sister a portion of the property. Please remember to send your text messages to 873-387-3183 to pay my landlord option. My friend wants to purchase a piece of land, but the owner doesn't have a title, only the memorandum of sale. The current owner is surveying the property as well. If my friend goes ahead and purchases the land, will he have any challenge of paying a title? What do you advise? Thank you. I'd love to know if your friend is buying all that the man has, or just a piece. Okay, just a piece of it. So my friend wants to purchase a piece of land, but the owner doesn't have a title, only the memorandum of sale. Again, I won't tell a person not to buy unregistered land, because the reality is that half of the land in Jamaica not titled, not half, maybe about 30% not titled. But I would have to see what the person has. I don't see the memorandum of sale to see how old it is. To see, because suppose the person just bought that is selling again. because I want to see a good credit for your root of title. I want to see a survey diagram for the land because you go and buy something, you realize that there's a title. Because a lot of times you just love the issue want to clear these conveyance or we call it common law title or intention. And then they prepare it and persons have it and say, yeah, I bought my land, I pay my money, I have to pay for the JP sign up, but you don't realize that there's a title. So I would have to see the documentation before I would encourage somebody to go and buy land that's not titled. I would have to see the documentation firstly. And secondly, I would need to definitely make sure that you have a survey diagram. If you're only buying a piece of what the person has, then the person needs to apply to the correspondable subdivision. Whether it's titled or not, you need to apply to get the land subdivided. That's something to consider as well. So a lot of things that you need to look at. And make sure you get your friend as a lawyer and not the lawyer for the person selling. And a person, that's the person sent me a message. I'm not sure if I looked at it before. My landlord has given me a notice with intent to increase rent starting next month. The increase is way more than 7.5%, which is including how do I address it? It's commercial. Is there a cap for increase for commercial? And whenever I get questions like that, always to the client, call the rent board. A very good institution to call anytime you have anything related to landlord and tenant. Call the rent board. They are experienced persons, they will give you proper advice. Number to call 922411325. If one spouse is in need, irrespective of the prenuptial agreement signed with the court, disregard the agreement and offer release to that person. I'm not sure what you mean by release, because prenuptial agreement doesn't have anything to do with maintenance, So if you're in need, what you need to go to the court is to get maintenance from the other party. The prenuptial agreement is to say what is to happen in case I die, or in case we separate and all the properties are to be divided, in case I die, in case we separate, etc. So if you are in need, prenuptial agreement is there that has nothing to do with your present need. What you need the court to do, well, the court could always disregard the prenup, but the court is very reluctant to disregard prenuptial agreement because you have independent advice. But if you are in need, what you need to go to court for is for the other party to maintain you or maintain on from the other spouse. Please remember to keep sending the text messages, and there are many this week. The text line is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. After a couple's divorce for years, can the ex-spouse whose name was not on the title still make a claim on the property they lived at? The property rights of spouses asking that time limit, I think it's a year. So you have to live for a long time. The court is not going to entertain it. No need to do that. You have to go to court and get permission to bring the claim out of time. And it's very unlikely that if you are separated for the long period you are suggesting that the court is going to entertain it. And we know that ignorance of the law is more. Sometimes we say, boy, because I didn't know. We're not entertaining those things. Okay, we take it for granted that everybody should know, which is why we have a program like this, Land Solution. The person can be aware of their rights. But you can still talk to your attorney, still talk to a family attorney. Okay, to see if there's anything that can be done. But the courts are reluctant. I was with a lady, she died in a will. I entered the property. I lived there with my wife for the past 22 years. Now we are about to divorce. There was a house on the property, it was about 70% complete. She did some work on it to complete and fix off the yard. Now we are parting. What happened in a situation like this? You inherited the property, it's yours, so the other party is entitled. You have to live with this lady there for 22 years. More than likely, the court is going to, if she goes to court, more than likely, I've been living together for so long, the court is going to say half is hers. The court might look at the situation to say you inherited, etc., but when you look at the length of that marriage, it's unlikely that the court is going to go less than that. But anything can happen depending on whatever else you have to suggest. And you are suggesting as well that she has worked on it. They also just 70% complete. She did some work on it to complete it. She fixed the yard, etc. You never said anything about whether or not there are children in the marriage and so on. So she could put in her claim for a half and she would have a claim, I would think. The number to call 922-411-325. 922-411-325 if you want to speak to me now. But to send me a text message or WhatsApp message, the number is 387-3183. 387-3183. What is the minimum to pay for rent in a house spot? There's nothing. There's no limit, there's no minimum. You could pay $1 million for the house spot or you could pay $1. It depends on how much the person wants for your house spot. And it's going to depend on a lot of things will determine the size of the house spot, the location, if it's near to a main road, it's going to be more, etc., etc. So there's nothing to say there's a minimum or a maximum. And remember that person can determine that they want to rent it for whatever they want. You know, it's just the rent will be otherwise. But I've already said to my clients when they say I'm going to take the person to the rent board, you know what's going to happen. They're going to give you a notice. The rent board can't stop them from giving you a notice, you know. Rent board can't stop a person and say, hey, because I carry it to rent board, why I give my notice? It's my property, so I can give you a notice at any time to vacate my property. So that's part of the challenge as well in situations like that. So this whole land situation is really, 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 you know, a challenge. But whatever we are doing is a challenge. We're open a break now. This is now 3 o'clock, and this is Land Solutions, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise awardees of the Dr. Bampton Witt Memorial Scholarship Program that the deadline to complete their bonding agreement has been extended to Friday, October 18, 2024. Awardees who face challenges meeting the requirements of their bonding agreement are encouraged to call the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service at 876-922-8600 or visit the office at 30 National Hero Circle, Kingston 4. They can also send an email to collet.mccausland@mof.gov.jm.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. And we are taking your calls, and we thank Attorney at Law Gloria Brown, as usual, and thank her for her commitment to the cause. We are still taking those calls, 876-922-4113-5, 876-922-4113-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, 876-365-3346. There is also 876-279-8598. That's 876-279-8598. And the other number, which is, we'll give you in just a moment. It's 387-3183. 876-387-3183. And the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center. And there's another office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In the meantime, let's take you back to Attorney at Law Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Please remember, listeners, if you want me to assist you in getting a title, just text me the word title or send me by WhatsApp, preferably by WhatsApp, the word title. That's all. Send it to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. Just in title. I will do that. You need my assistance to get that title. And remember, we're always encouraging persons to get a title. When you have a title, you have an ultimate, you have a document to show you have this own, and nobody can question your otherwise, then you have you can build your children, you can pass on to the next generation. You can go and get borrow money to start a business, to get a loan, to educate the children, to improve the property, get your NHC build on own land, all of those things, your NHC home improvement benefits, many benefits you can get. You just get the property, the documents, all that kind of thing. Please remember that the number to call 9411325, and this person is saying, I think the studio lines are down because I tried calling all the numbers and they rang out. Not so sure about that part. Adrian or Dervan, 9241135 are the numbers. This time saying they tried calling them but they rang out. There's a title for the owner told this party in question. The person was said before, my friend wants to buy a piece of land. There's a title for the land, but the owner told this party. The owner of this subdivision also has a diagram. I'm going to have to call you back afterwards. You will explain a little bit for me. Because you're saying that this property was a subdivision, but this particular parcel was told to this person, and this person is selling it now to your friend. So if it's all, I would need to see a little bit more, because first of all, I would love to see what the title says for the main land. Because if the title says the land is not to be subdivided, then we could run into problems. So I need a little bit more information. So I'm saying to the person, don't just go out and buy a plan and just tell me a piece because everybody's fine. We run into problems. I have situations in my office where persons that bought a piece of square footage, a person bought a piece of property. They have their houses on there, but the title that the land is not to be subdivided. And the entire property has now been sold to somebody else. I would have to go to court now for the judge to make an order to say that my client is entitled that is the piece that she bought. Even though it has been sold to somebody else. So don't, as they go through my listeners, don't just go out and just buy land like that. Don't. We need to do some investigation where we say get an attorney before you do those things. Number to call 9241135, and the text line is 387-3183. 387-3183 is the text line. And please remember that we have an office in Uterus and we have an office in Kingston. You can call the Uterus office, or you can call the Kingston office, or you can just send me a text or me and she will gladly assist you. My grandma purchased the land in her name. How can I go about acquiring the proper documents in my mom's name? My grandmother has one child, and I suspect that you're saying that grandmother passed. I suspect that's what you're saying. So I need to know when grandma passed. I need to know if one is occupying the land. Because if grandma passed more than 12 years ago, we might not need to administer. But if grandma passed within the last 12 years, I would be informed to administer the property. So I need a little more information when she passed. Did she made her will? Okay, did she have a title for the land? Did grandma have a title for the land? All of those things I need to find out. So quite a bit of investigation to be done. So you need to give me a little bit more information. Sending the text message to 873873183. So on point, because it was Twitter title or a land never have a title. I don't understand. But it's because it was Twitter title or a land never have title. Okay, please, you just clarify for me. So can I get a will done? Is that you can make your will? You can always call us in office. I'll be glad there. And I'm glad to get that question. And it seems to be a male as well. And I'm even happier because I find that my male clients are not necessarily. And I'm begging us, instead of talk about the points that people make to go into that, because the reality is always not going to be forever. And it's good that we can do some amount of certainty. Some amount of certainty the person can use to get points. And please to get near the mango tree, near the tree. Just call me afterwards. I've got that. If you're out of phone, you can't travel, etc., then what you probably need to do is to maybe buy a will form and just something you might have the experience. And I always say to the person, you need to get and send it to me. I'll look at it for you. I'll gladly look at it for you. But it's important to have that stuff remember that this is something you can don't around and for the whole time and mama is still alive. You remember. My father passed away in a week. It that my sister on instead of just that. That as a child that he left the time instead of passed away. How can I get the child from her husband? He has been married since the death of my sister. My father passed away in a week. It that my sister on instead of just that as a child that he left the time instead of passed away. No, but that left the child just my sister died. How can I get the child from her husband? He has been married since the death of my sister. Asking for it. Ask the gentleman for it. He doesn't give it to you, get a lawyer to write it. He doesn't respond, then the lawyer might have to go alongside the application to get it replaced. The lawyer might have to go alongside the application to get the title. To get the title replaced if he says he doesn't have it or doesn't respond, etc. In the meantime, I would advise you to make a lot of caveats against the title with a block against it so nobody will do anything. Or go to the titles and get a copy of it. That's very, very important. Remember that the titles are public documents. You can go to the title of it and just say, my father had a title for a place at 10 Grove Street, and I need to get a copy. Because you don't know the title number, you have to pay $1,000. If you know the title number, you pay $500. The title of it stands there, not it's a public document. They have you can see anybody's title. You want to know how much you pay for the piece of land, you want to see the title of the address, and they will get it for you. Also, if you know the tax number, the number for the property tax, that will make it easier for you to find, for them to find the title for you. So I'm encouraging you to just leave it like that, and I'm encouraging persons to take it within the first 3 years of the death of your rent or don't wait. Don't wait for 5, 10, 20 years. Easy labor. Do not let things like that happen. Because you have persons who will check it because you are there, you're abroad, you're TV, you're phone and the landscape country. You will think. The number to call 9224113 to sign that when a agent come and express somebody saying that we can't get through your line because they are bringing out. The number to call those still try 9224113 to sign. And the text line, you want to send me a text message, you want to send me a WhatsApp message, then the number to call me on text or WhatsApp, sorry, to text me is the number to text me is 38731. Text me or WhatsApp is 38731, and I'll gladly assist you. Remember, I was saying to you earlier on that I will speak from this to keep the property is not yours until the person who has made the will has died. And sometimes you have a will and feel that it's the right one and the person made another will afterwards. And this is why I encourage, especially I encourage children, or I'm encouraging children who, especially those who are not in Jamaica and are away from the parents, to encourage the parents to do and part of the estate planning. Start to about transferring the property to the children while they're alive, and you know, I always encourage the parents to think a life interest. So the title will read to John Brown's life and after death to my daughter Mary and my son Paul. Okay, but you can give it to them. Remember, I always say I prefer the warm is better than the cold. It's the land where give the access to the beneficiaries while your hands are warm, while you're alive and not when you're cold, because it's more expensive when it's very cold and sometimes it's more problematic. So you can keep the children, but I did see the life interest because I see on this program all the time about the lady to transfer her property to her daughter as a part of the planning and daughter in her own distribution of it. So even those things will let us say be careful how you transfer, be careful how you hold up the property or you how you do the estate planning, be careful, know your children. Because you have the nice little son, but sometimes God forbid that. Sometimes it's reality, sometimes it's the lady who she has got in order, and the nice daughter, and sometimes it's the gentleman. She has got it, sometimes it's the other parties that have come that have influenced the child with some of these things. So I always protect my clients and say, even though you're sure the child is old, keep a life interest. course, sometimes the times are sure and you don't have to. But when it goes. My grandma purchased the land in her name. How can I go about and find the proper documents in my mother's name? My grandma has one child and just even more information. Grandma died within the 12 years. She has no title for the land. Mom is living there over years now. She has no will. Mom have no estate agreement and she's being assisted her. They say grandma died within the 12 years. I don't mean to tell me exactly how long. But from what you're saying, mom may have to administer the estate of grandma and I also want mom to survey the property. So I'm going to ask you to contact me. I'll be with her on so I can send you some information that you're going to need. Because mom is the only child. You never told me grandma was married. I need that information. But I'm going to right to administer the estate, administer, and then let's move from there.
Wednesday, October 23, 2024, at the Terra Nova
Hello?
All Suite Hotel, 17 Waterloo Road
Yes,
in
I'm just double
Kingston,
checking. You
commencing
want to
at
be
10
on
a.m.
air?
Notices of the meeting, along with a cover letter and the form of proxy, have been mailed to shareholders in Jamaica as required by our rules. You can download the full annual report document from our website on jrvinagroup.com/publications.
No, you could go ahead and ask her.
The stock exchange. You can contact our office via
Hold,
WhatsApp
hold the line,
number
please.
876-356-3184 and share an email address if you would like the annual report sent to you by email. Alternatively, you can collect a copy of the report at one of our offices at 32 Nicholas Road or 7 North Street in Kingston, 23 Orange Street in Montego Bay, Shop 16, Point Plaza in Ocho St. Anne, or Shop 9 in Grey Mall in Vanderbilt, Manchester. That was a notice to shareholders of Regular Jamaica Limited regarding the upcoming annual general meeting scheduled for Wednesday, October 23, 2024 at 10 o'clock at the Terra Nova Hotel.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm alongside attorney at law Gloria Brown for today's edition of Land Solutions. There's a question from a caller, Ms. Brown. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. Yes. I would like to answer this question. Can a sister read a will after mother after the funeral? Who's supposed to read the will? Or if a new will made, don't the children support the next sisters and brothers supposed to know what going on? She just change it and she read it out. Is that right? Please. Can I hang up and listen?
currently, you don't even have to read the will. You could just take a copy and give everybody suppose everybody is one daughter. She doesn't have to read it to anybody else. She doesn't have to tell the brother that she doesn't know that. And the thing about it is that, it's not necessary. You can read that anytime. Because I said, I do it, I give everybody a copy of the will. So there's no rule to say you could have for her.
Okay.
There's no rule to say that the sister has to read it at the funeral or she has to read it at any time or she has to read it for everybody to know. Just read it to those who are involved, read it at any time you want, and anybody can read it. I'm going to close the line for you, Adrian. So the number to call is 92411 and the text line is 3873183. 3873183. Yes, before the call, I was stating that when it comes to, I'm sorry, there's a feedback like music or something.
Okay.
Check on it for me or Adrian?
All right. Checking on it now.
I was saying earlier on when we spoke about the grandmother, remember that when a person dies and leaves one child and has a spouse, the child is only entitled to 1/3 of the estate and the spouse to get 2/3. If you have 2 or more children, suppose you have 10 children and you die without a will and you have a spouse, the spouse is to get half of what you have and the 10 children must share the other half. 2 or more children must share a half and the spouse gets a half. That's why we need to make the will. Because you see what will happen in a situation like this when the young lady spoke to me about her grandmother, which is why I asked her if grandmother had a spouse, because if grandmother has a spouse, then only a third would go to her mother. The number to call is 922411325 and the text line is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183 is the text line. That any issue you have, you can always give me a call on that. And the persons who have, remember, if you want me to get a title for you, just text the word title to 876-387-3183. Just text the word title to that number, and I will gladly assist you in getting a title. Also remember that we have an office in Ocho Rios and an attorney is in that office every day. It's at the Jamaica National Building, Shop 6. You just go to the Jamaica National Building, Shop 6. You go to Jamaica National Building in Shop 6 in Ocho Rios. National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne, and you will get assistance. And we have an office in Houston in the between Winchester Business Center, Shop 39 or 39, and we'll gladly assist you anything land related. And I'm encouraging all the persons out there, you have a piece of land, you don't have a title for it, just text me the word title, but the important thing I want all of you to do with that piece of land you have is to go and survey it. Survey it before trouble comes. Survey it before you go to survey it and somebody objects or somebody comes and says, because I find that a lot of the persons who are coming to us to assist them is because they have encountered a difficulty. They have gone to pay the taxes and realize somebody else has paid it already, or it's not in their name again, or the tax number has been retired. And remember, this is something that we need to be aware of. If you have a piece of land and somebody has got a title out of that piece of land, the tax number is going to change. They are going to retire it and give you a brand new tax number. But sometimes persons go to the tax office to pay the tax and they come panicking. So they are going to pay the tax and the tax number is, they say that tax number is cancelled, it doesn't exist again. A lot of times that has happened because somebody has got a piece out of that piece of land. So therefore the person who has got the piece has to get a new valuation number, and what is left has to get a new valuation number as well. So be aware of that. And let us sort out the land before the days come before you have a problem. And good afternoon. I live on my grandmother's land for over 30 years and the title got dismantled. And I am paying the taxes. So can I go about the title? I'm not sure until the title got dismantled. And you're living on grandmother's land. That you have a little piece of the land for yourself where you could survey it up. who else is living on the land, or the other siblings living on it, etc. Because when you try and throw in the part, I am paying the taxes, they feel that they can get it. Taxes cannot make you get land. It's who occupying it. So if you are living there with all your brothers and sisters and you are alone paying the taxes, all the things that they owe you tax. But you can't get the title for their place that they're living on. And if all you're living in the house, you have to get the title in everybody's name, even though you are the only one paying the taxes. Remember, taxes cannot make you own land. Okay, please remember that taxes cannot make you own land. Occupation is what counts. So, and you need to give me a little bit more information. You live on the land for over 30 years. Your grandmother's and when did grandma die? Because sometimes persons come to us and say, I live on the land for 30 years, and say, how old are you? 30. You can't count to the 30 years like that. You have to say, how long have you been the only person, or you and your family, the only person on your little piece? So because grandma died and you are the one paying the taxes and you are living with her from your baby and you are now 30 years, your ownership cannot start then. Your ownership will start when grandma died. The day she died, and that is if you are the only person there. And what happened to grandma's children, what happened to the other grandchildren, so it's much more complex than that. And paying the taxes will not make you the owner. It's much more than that. How long it takes to do a splinter title? The titles office says 6 weeks, but as I said before, if you have a plan, so suppose you have a survey plan upon the plan, and it has more than one lot on it, you have to deposit that plan first, and that can run you sometimes into 6 weeks. Because you have to deposit that plan, wait first to get the deposit and number called that TP number before you can send it to surrender. So you'll be looking at another 2 months. Also, make sure that you have the subdivision approval, you have the plan, the deposit plan, the plan with if it has more than one lot, and if you have that, you need a declaration from the surveyor. And another important thing that most times persons come to me to say this loan is helping to splinter my title. The biggest problem is that most of the time they don't have the good and work certificate, or what you call the certificate of compliance. That's a letter or a certificate, sometimes a letter addressed to the title office to say all the conditions of the subdivision have been complied with, so you can go ahead and splinter the title. Make sure you have that. I would love for you to send me a picture of that, so I can tell you if it is something coming from the municipal corporation, from the parish, going for your parish, to say everything is in order. You may go ahead and you have satisfied all the conditions, and they might say you have satisfied condition, whatever number so and so, and that condition is the no title and superintendent is satisfied. You have to make sure that that condition is satisfied first, okay, before you can go and speak. So you have to have the submission approval, that's the blueprint with the conditions on it. You have to have the plastic showing the different lots. You have to have the declaration from the, but you have to have your title. And you the value of each lot, because types of it to be based on the value of each lot. So a number of things you need to consider. Please remember, okay, this person is saying I'm the only person living on the land with the children. That's the one who said that grandmother is there for 30 years, but you still don't tell me when grandma passed. That's important for me to know so I can assist you. What do I need to get the land surveyed? You have to show the surveyor evidence that you are, that you have an interest in the land, maybe the tax papers, anything you have, and then you call a commission land surveyor. Okay, if the surveyor is not satisfied, you need to explain to the surveyor you have been here for 12 years, you are the one paying the taxes, even though we say tax will make you owner. The surveyor will want something to show before they go in and start putting things on land that might not be yours and get into trouble. Okay? What am I saying to you this afternoon? I'm saying to persons that please sort out your land. Send me a text message to 8763873183 to say that you want to get a title for your property. Just send me a message to say title or any other issue you have. Some of these persons who have sent me these text messages that I'm a little confused about, you can give me a call after the program so I can give you some guidance and some direction. But this time we are an office in Ochoris, we have an office in Easton. I'm glad they assist you to get title for your property, to sell your property, to in buying your property, anything that related. Because the aim is to have everybody have a piece of paper to show that you are owner of a little piece of the rock. and thanks to Adrian. Thanks to all the listeners who have supported me throughout my time when I was off. And thanks so much to Khadija for holding the fort down, holding it very easy, holding down the fort for me while I was off. Thank you so much, listeners. I look forward to sharing again with you on Land Solutions. I'm Gloria Brown. Have a good afternoon.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:14. The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, whether I find a place in this world or never belong, I gotta be me. I gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? I want to live, not merely survive. And I won't give up this dream of life that keeps me alive. I gotta be me. I gotta be me. The dream that I see makes me what I am. That faraway prize, a world of success is waiting for me if I heed the call. I won't settle down, won't settle for less, as long as there's a chance that I can have it all. I'll go it alone, that's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I gotta be free. Daring to try to do it or die. I gotta be me. I'll go it alone. That's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I just gotta be free. Daring to try to do it or die. I gotta be free.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls, your messages, right here on Both Sides of the Story. This message says, Mr. Malcolm, afternoon. This is for my Jamaicans. Their night is in position. For their night to act, they must repent and stop putting money before Yahweh. Yahweh see and know everything. These people have no love for humanity. They have to find Yahweh who first loved us, then we will be able to love each other again with a heart of flesh. That's from Marie. GMAC in the Cayman Islands says, Hi Dervan, Cuban in Georgia seems to be venturing into Jamaica's affairs. LOL. On a serious note, in a country where managing government assets can be quite challenging, it may be beneficial for the government to divest from loss-making entities to improve overall profitability. And the person goes on to say, GMAC, that is, in the Cayman Islands, goes on to say, take Air Jamaica, for instance. The airline struggled to make a profit since its inception in 1971, often relying on taxpayer support, which isn't fair to those who rarely, if ever, had the opportunity to fly. Similarly, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, faces issues where parts, gas, fires, and fare revenues are being misappropriated by those who are meant to benefit by working for the company. Regarding bauxite, we do not currently have the capacity to refine it into finished products. So we sell it primarily to bolster our budget. When it comes to the airport, governments often divest these entities to private operators who are better equipped to manage them effectively. It's important to note that the airport is leased, not sold out, or not sold outright. So it's leased. I wish more people would take the time to understand these issues before making off the cuff remarks. For example, the Jamaica Railway was generating around $3 million annually in 1991, while 5 million. The government had to consider whether or find ways to make it more efficient. Cuban enjoy or some who is this now? This is GMAC still saying, Cuban, I encourage you to familiarize yourself with these issues rather than making comments based on limited understanding. Understanding the complexities can lead to more informed discussions, says GMAC in the Cayman Islands. Also messaging us, Lloyd Berry, aka King Lloyd, saying, Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Good afternoon, Jamaica. I'm now in 1520 Airport Road, North Carolina, coming from Alabama. Take FEMA load here last night, and I want to say hi and hello to Diana James and Staley Paul. They are listening to your show right now in Kingston 20, Jamaica. Mr. Dervan, one love, says Lloyd. Here is another message. How did Neville know Biden got the note? Truth is a big issue. Who knows? If Neville is speaking the truth, nothing he said ever made major news. In light and hope that parliamentarians in particular will cooperate with the Commission instead of trying to down parliamentarians to stop the nitpicking and the use of derogatory language. Justice Minister from East Central. Thank you for your message, Justice Minister from East Central. And this one, not clear. MH Senior says, Mr. Malcolm, the Jamaican citizens once again, we know the media spaces are aware of the oil disc. No, I'm not going through that right now. That one was put to bed a long time ago. Now today, the same. Yeah, no, we're not gonna waste any time with that. Let's move on. The listener who uses the moniker Bunty says, like how you are the disproportionate, like how you are in the disproportionate by some ambulances sent to Jamaica. That would be great. Jaja, Mr. Malcolm, tell that man we are all stronger, passing I'm not sure what's missing here. Jaja, Mr. Malcolm, let that man know we are all stronger. So, passing through, eat, drinks, and be merry, for only God the Almighty can settle all our fear. Put your mouth where your money is. Your father must be a dentist. Love people and help people if you can. Jaja, one love. And this is from Bunty, the listener who calls himself Bunty. Let's move on to another of the messages. Cuban and George, welcome. We heard the police came out after that soldier got killed in West Kingston. Was something about being killed by a gunman. Now we're hearing a different story, that it was all right, somebody's trying to run with a story here. All right, I'm gonna move on. Thank you, Cuban in Georgia. And this one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Just texting to say this is Richard from Portland, the pastry chef who was working in Ocho Rios, who is working in Ocho Rios now in North Carolina, Greensboro area. I'm living far away from where the hurricane struck the family, and it's doing good. Let's see who else is messaging us here on both sides of the story. Good afternoon, says this message. We pray all is well. The message goes on to say, Love Groove Music is also logged on. And trying to clear these messages. This one from Reverend Dr. Frank Lawrence says, greetings, Brother Dervan. As we continue to consider the tropical events of climate change, the following scripture verse, Genesis 2:15, New International Version. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. Yes, that's for those who are familiar with the scripture. That's a well-known scripture. Let's go through these messages. Let's go up the line. Stafford Grant, good afternoon, Mr. Grant. Let's pause and take the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Record your expenses. The first step to start saving money is figuring out how much you spend. Keep track of all your expenses. That means every coffee, household item, and cashed in, as well as regular monthly bills. Record your expenses however it's easiest for you. A pencil and paper, a simple spreadsheet, or a free online spending tracker or app. Once you have your data, organize the numbers by categories such as gas, groceries, and mortgage, and total each amount. Use your credit card and bank statements to make sure you've included everything.
I want to this alive. And I won't give up this dream of life that keeps me alive. I gotta believe. The dream that I see makes me want.
We see that Valerie Rochester is still very active in Atlanta, Georgia. They are continuing the Atlanta Montego Bay sister cities in collaboration with Feed the Fight Breast Cancer Awareness. And what is this about? The annual Vin Martin Memorial Health Mission, scheduled to run from today, the 7th of October, and go up to the 10th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at St. John's Methodist Church Hall at 5 Duke Street in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And all are invited to join and take advantage of the services which will be offered: blood pressure, blood sugar, cancer screening, pap smear, etc. So this is happening effective today. And well done to you, Valerie Rochester. She continues to do great work. As we continue to clear some more of these messages, Kevin Galloway, good day to you too. Thank you very much for your listenership. Loretta Manderson, good morning. Tony Kelly, who is continuing preparations for those free diabetes awareness talk sessions. Nordia says, good morning, hope all is well. Okay. Franklin McDonald says, Dervan, apologies for giving you the wrong year for Hurricane Mitch. It was, of course, 1998, and the next toll from rainfall in Central America was estimated to be between 10 and 12,000. It is a picture the Atlantic writer did not bring that into the article. Can I respect for the request that you try to get some inspiring conversations? Your Friday calls over the last few weeks have been very depressing, and I think it is partly the fact that you allow an uninspiring people. I think you could reasonably suggest to your long-winded frequent Friday crawler that he reads something on critical thinking and concise presentation. Perhaps you should ask your caller when slavery was abolished in Ethiopia. According to the link I sent you yesterday, it was in, well, I don't know what year this is because it's out of line with the standard. After the death of Garvey, it was one of the constraints on Garvey when he thought of Rastafarianism. Let's continue. Joan Richardson in Bermuda has joined us. She has been in touch with us. She says, "Good day, Sir D and Mrs. Gloria Brown. Our heartfelt condolences to the entire Brown family at this difficult time. May Mr. Brown's fond memories keep you all strong. May his soul rest in eternal peace." Once again, condolences to Mrs. Brown and her family, friends, colleagues, neighbors. And she has been most gracious. And continuing. And also, Uriel Lewis Jacks of Jacksonville saying, "Please read on your both sides of the story." Jacks in Jacksonville. All right, we have read this one. Good evening, Dervan and both sides of the story listeners. Haitians see how quickly Jamaica deported fellow Haitians with crises that are real in Haiti, but we're castigating Trump for saying he is going to deport. But USA don't deport Haitians quickly. Facts, nor Cubans. This one says, "A pleasant afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. No one is trying to run with a story. It's in the Gleaner. It's all over the news. The police was held for questioning for the soldier's death. My text, re the gas found in Jamaica, is also in the Gleaner today. They will start doing testing shortly." Yes, sir. And this is from MH Senior Nursing. Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Where is Lloyd Lovindeer? I want him to do a song for the girls." The title of the song have no name. Okay. Thank you for your message, Horace, otherwise known as Spider. Nadia says, "Even though I wrote morning, Dervan, the message to you sometimes Some time ago, I sent a long message about the coffee and cocoa. Thank you very much for sending it. And this one says, Mr. Malcolm, what is the name of the poem you read at the start of today's program? I think it's called Myself. I think it's the poem is Myself by Edgar Albert Guest. Edgar, Edgar, Albert, Albert, Guest, Guest. And so it's entitled Myself by Edgar Albert Guest. Hope you got that. Patrick Guthrie, otherwise known as Jamaica Love, says, bless up teach in class for Jamaica. And we're still clearing messages. Let's make sure we don't leave out anybody. Barbara Hart says, blessed good afternoon, Sir Dervan, and all those amazing workers behind the scenes, my brother. Oh, Mrs. Gloria Brown, who give us so much support in our legal issues on land, rental, wills. Bless her, my friend. And you know, it's a pleasure just to be on your program, Sir D. You're very kind, Barbara Hart. Good to have you on board as well. Thank you very much. Carol Boeth says, good afternoon to you, Brother Dervan, Malcolm, and global listeners. It is, where did that message go now? These messages have a way of popping up and popping out. Right. Sir Malcolm, I hope the PSOJ think again for the plan they have to push the Emancipation Freedom Day to twine with our Independence Days. Each day is most important to us as Jamaicans. I hope they don't forget, Sir Malcolm. They need to do a poll and ask the entire 14 parishes plus single Jamaicans before they think of making that move, which is most solid to each one of us. Two different freedoms, one from slavery and one from the British. My friend, again. Okay, those are just some of the many messages. Norman Hines, good afternoon to you. Inez Zayona Campbell Murray, hello. Thank you for tuning in. Valerie Weller Peck, good afternoon to you as well. Faye Weller says, blessed afternoon, Mr. Dervan and faithful listeners. Thanks be to God to be together again. I'm here listening, she says. And we also have Hubert Fowlin saying a very pleasant good afternoon to Mr. Dervan Malcolm and your listening audiences on Power 106 FM and both sides of the story. Velta Wilson, good afternoon to you. And Mike Montgomery saying good afternoon, teacher, to you and your faithful listeners. Keep up your good work. Thank you very much for your messages. Keep them coming in. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's go to another break now here on both sides of the story. We'll be back with much more in just a moment.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is Real Business, appointment radio for everything economics, locally, regionally, and internationally. Real Business, your source for engaging conversations on business, finance, and economics. Join hosts Rosalind Hyman and Dr. Andrew Sutherland from 9 to 11 a.m. on weekdays as they bring you the most authoritative analysis on economic matters. Listen to riveting features such as The Big Picture, Under the Financial Microscope, the Business Information Update, and the local and international market updates. From the latest happenings on various business sectors and affairs of the economy, to how fiscal and monetary policies affect your life, make it Real Business on Power 106 FM. Monday to Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. right here on Power 106 FM. I can't be right for somebody else, but I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I gotta be free. There ain't no trying to do it or not. Gotta be I can't be right for somebody else, but I'm not right for you. I gotta be free. I just gotta be free. There is a time that
We're just taking a look at this horrific system, the National Hurricane Center, highlighting the Category 5 Hurricane Milton explosively intensifying. That's how they characterize the current situation. Category 5 Hurricane Milton explosively intensifying. We trust we're all in contact with our family members, friends, colleagues. Hope we're in communication with them. That's important. That is very important. All right, let's continue with more here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. And still amazed at all that has been going on, weather-wise and otherwise, in our region. Is quite something. And even outside our region. We have a lot more to learn, don't we? So Milton is now a Category 5 major hurricane with winds of 175 miles per hour. Jamaicans in Florida should finish preparation now. The last update from the Weather Channel as of 12:49 p.m. today about Major Hurricane Milton. Let's go to the phone lines, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. The connection is low though.
I got this vision one night from heaven. This color a star came from the earth in Jamaica, from the south of Jamaica, and shape of whole place. At the same time, I was just asking myself, so I was just like that, which comes so it's beautiful, but it's very scary. I just wish to let you know as a nation, I don't know, but as you said, that's a heavenly vision for me, and that is lacking in the country and a whole. So I just warning and telling whosoever is listening to be aware. So that's it from me now.
Okay, thanks for sharing that.
Okay, thank you all for listening.
Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much for staying with us here on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. A young witness declaring that which he dreamt and sharing the information with us. We'll keep an eye and an ear out for that manifestation. In the meantime, we continue with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. As we continue with more on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, and looking forward to your additional messages, comments, concerns, issues. All right, let's see this message that just popped up. Let's see who this is now. This one says, Mr. Malcolm, I think that every Jamaican, American, or Jamaican or American, Mr. Malcolm, I think that every Jamaican stroke American does everything possible to prevent Trump from the presidency. If not, it will affect us in no uncertain way. What do your listeners think? Moringa Man. Well, you have put it out there, Moringa Man. And let's hear what our listeners think. as you sought to elicit information. In the meantime, we'll look out for those messages and listen out for the calls. The numbers to call 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon, Miss Mervis.
I was gonna call you today, That young man said something a while ago. That he drip. I remember one time, it was last week, one day I was talking to you. Or the week before. I remember saying to you while I was talking, it's like I was seeing something up in the heavens that I never seen before. There was a time when I was playing my keyboard. To a song that I wrote and put music to. And it's like I would see angels up in the heavens and sing to the song. There was another time I would see them bowing in worship. But that evening I was talking to you. I saw a group up there, and they were just something unusual, and by the time I finished talking to you, I said it down after you talking to you, so what kind of outfit? Then I realized it looked like army camouflage. Yes, he said something about some army a while ago. And yes, I am reminded of a scripture in the Bible where Joshua was at Jesus and saw an angel with drawn sword. And Joshua said to the angel, "Go for us or for our answer." The angel said unto him, "I have come as captain of the Lord." What he was really saying to Joshua that although he was speaking Israel, there was an angelic captain that was over him. And I remember when he commanded his son to stand still, I get to realize that he didn't just command that son to stand. Somebody spiritual told him to do that. How can I do that? One day I was commanded to pass down. I was going to command the rain to stop. The rain stopped. But I come to realize that when that Peter, he was in a command and a high power. Now the Satan is on that demon is being tested time and time again. So that is why the government on both sides have been trying, because I remember Mr. Bunting crying. They want an intervention, but he was national security. So they both have tried, and things are just getting worse. Because there is a spiritual army, a spiritual and evil power at work in the whole world that people fail to recognize. We preach it in church and talk about the devil and the devil and the devil, but I don't think we put it over properly. This is a set of angels that were in heaven that tried to overthrow the Almighty in the heaven. And they were kicked out of there. They were thrown out. An army rose up in heaven and threw them out. Yeah, that song I hear people singing, I say, God call an election and vote out Satan. It's a nonsensical song. He was voted out. The Bible says the angel by the name of Michael, and with an army got him out of there. So there's a war going on continuously between evil and good. And everybody should know that. That there are times you are being influenced to do something bad. you're evil, you're influenced to do something good. But we determine whether we obey the evil, the negative, or the positive. If anybody tell me they have never heard a negative voice telling them to do something negative, well, that's quite funny. Doesn't matter how bishop you are or who you are on top of the world, religiously speaking. These evil spirits go around to everybody. They have no respect and no regard to anybody. Whether you name president or the United States or you name whoever else, or the bishop or the pope. No, nobody is the same. So this country is under demonic siege. I was told from 98.
One moment, Miss Mervis.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Start an emergency fund. A mantra in personal finance is pay yourself first, which means saving money for emergencies and your future. This simple practice keeps you out of trouble financially and helps you sleep better at night. Life happens, and we do not always have control over when expenses arise. By having an emergency savings account, unexpected finances won't force you to incur debt or throw you too far off your financial plan. To determine the amount you should save, figure out how much you spend each month. Once you get into the habit of saving money, you will stop treating savings as optional and start treating it as a required monthly expense.
else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I just gotta be free. Daring to try to do it or die. I gotta be free.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Good afternoon to Franklin McDonald. Thank you very much for joining us. He has shared with us a link, Slavery in Ethiopia, and this is via Wikipedia. So that we'll perhaps take a couple of phrases from that, if time will allow. Slavery in Ethiopia existed for centuries, going as far back as 1495 BC and ending in 1942. There are also sources indicating the export of slaves from the Aksumite Empire 100 to 940 AD. The practice formed an integral part of Ethiopian society. Slaves were traditionally drawn from the Nilotic groups inhabiting Ethiopia's southern hinterland and Oromos. Oromos war captives were another source of slaves, though the perception, treatment, and duties of these prisoners was markedly different. Thank you for sharing, Franklin McDonald. We'll continue the reading, but thank you for bringing it to our attention. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. We pray for those neighbors in Florida, not even 2 weeks after Helene! Exclamation. Yes, it's something is afoot. Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says, Mr. Malcolm, how can someone drown in a pothole in the road? What is really happening in Jamaica with the roads Is the country mashed up or what? This is coming from Horace, otherwise known as Spider. Well, you should be able to ascertain additional information, maybe by taking a term that I've been hearing a lot of now these days, a deep dive. That's what we're hearing a lot these days. Rohan Johnson of Atlas Ocherios, on behalf of his children, just saying hi, he says. Thank you very much for your greeting, Rohan Johnson of Atlas Ocherios. All the very best as we continue with more on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Let's take another call. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. So thanks for holding, Miss Mervis. Sorry about that.
And I have dealt with numerous cases like that, and he's dealing with some right now. Where these boys tell you negative things. They are out of control of themselves. They have demons, have a demonized situation, or they are definitely possessed. They have no power over what they are doing. And unfortunately, we deal with them psychiatrically, but there's a spiritual um, encounter that they're having that nobody sees. Well, not nobody. But there's a lot of people in the nation who care about they have preachers in the nation right now. Because if you can't cast this demon out of you, because no matter what kind of killer you them or whatever, it's not going to work. So when we talk about this people, we can see that, but you know, people, the concept that will organize the demon encounter people out here, they're not doing some pressure and all these things come out. They are rational. They don't know enough about them. They are rational. And some things are part of my years. The things that are rational and other things. People need to understand that they are evil spirits. You know, they are real. It's not a joke. So it's something I intended to talk about. Not know, but because the young man said what he said a while ago, I just decided to ask what he said. Because what is going on in that spiritual army with it, not physical. The kind of cooking and the kind of feeling and the kind of madness going on in the place. When we were much poorer down the road, it was nothing, you know. But as I said, one morning on a program, we told that here is program, and we would try to redundant, so I don't have to use that. Some of the things we used to do first time, if you saw more respect for that, you may not all those Christians. You would find them doing certain things on a Sunday. No? That there was a day, whether you go to church or not, but you was in the business place, were told, and all that kind of things that we redundant, so those everything. Even in the school, like people don't even want this worship in there anymore. The Bible is what's supposed to the Bible now is turn into religious education and children are cooking, all kind of religion. And mixed up in these religions are like a demonic forces and whatever. Because then they get too far in them. And not just the children alone, but teach them really study. And they have to call these people to come and deal with those demonic forces.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Miss Mervis, but just an update from our colleague Peter Gracie Uh, 5 p.m. alert, Central Florida. Emergency alert, National Weather Service. A hurricane warning is in effect for this area for dangerous and damaging winds. This warning is issued up to 6 hours before hazardous conditions begin. Urgently complete efforts to protect life and property. Have food, water, cash, fuel, and medication for 3+ days. Follow instructions from local officials. Thank you very much for that reminder, Peter Gracie. Thank you. Sorry, go ahead, Miss Mervis.
Pray for them because we had very long talk after that he was coming and he was here again. See, I really do pray for them. I don't know about all over the globe when I listen to BBC and other like it just all over the place. Hurricane is got all kind of things. Yes, I am wondering if they might get so angry what is on the earth and what is just coming on. Yeah, I want another life. All over the place. There's only anybody that's like any way that is just but I think we need to get conscious that you're the creator that created this world and control. We have forgotten that totally. I was with behaving the technology is gonna take over from things. And every time I watch the technology, I am reminded of how I feel in the Bible. We gotta allow them to be it. So I do what to do and then stop them. And I feel that somewhere along the line, they over there, we just walk and take the Bible. I don't know about anybody else, I'm very concerned about the young generation because this technology thing is really having its way on them. They're young and they don't understand certain things. They go on it online and they see certain things and it carry them. If it's leading them up into danger and they don't know that. You know? I met a group of about four boys from a church, secondary, high school, in school, and their behavior was absurd. It reminded me that further down the road, they are like, that the children's life has become so messy that in present time people come to them anymore. Really messy they run so and out of order and carrying on. And I was standing there trying to get through to a young man coming home. And I don't know if you could get through here to me to and to see it look like you could put it. That's how it was behaving. They were behaving. You know, when I look at it, I said, no, I don't know what he's like. You're you know, about four of them. One of them decided to apologize for that on the phone. And instead of I apologize to the woman and the woman that he might listen to me. So I said, Tim, I wasn't sure if your apology was listening. Because it's very weird style. It's a bit but some days happening to our children, some powers, they are being carried along, behaving as though they are not just. But the Almighty said to me, if they were the offspring of sons and daughters, they would be like them. They are responsible and what power they have become. But there's a force in the world that I am saying, and I don't want people to misunderstand. And everybody should know that. There's a negative force in the world, very organized, that that try to influence people and will possess some people. And we need to be conscious of this cause and realize that we can't manage them alone. It takes the eternal power of the Most High God to deal with this kind of power. And I'm not joking it, I'm not saying it to fun or anybody. A lot of people out there will know, you know, them know, them experience it. Yeah? But the behaving as if it's not something they know. So when you get a feeling your own family members and carrying on certain ways, there must be something man is stuck inside of you. It can't be you who made after the image and life to the most right God. Cannot be. See? So yes, there's an army out there. When those person are
Well,
going to
sorry.
last thing I'm saying, I keep one in the state and for 30 odd years. 1 year of national repentance, reconciliation and commitment. Is that the second serious those gentlemen who talking about merging emancipation and independence. That was nonsense. You understand? They would have understood what these things mean to other people. You see? But that repentance is not about going to church alone or whatever. It's a matter of us looking at what we have done to bring this nation to what it is. What is it we did? What is it we did not do? What is it we say? What is it we did not say that we should have said? That's what God is talking about. The person where we sing the national anthem too. The eternal Father bless land, bless it, yes? But we sit down here and allow everybody in here to be coming in here and taking out the blessing. While we sit down in here turn beggars and whatever. Yeah? Beg, borrow, and give. That is what our leaders have done over the years.
Hold a moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:30.
How much do you know about spices and the impact they have on your everyday life? Join us every first and third Thursday during Farm Talk with Alvia McKenzie at 6:18 a.m. for Spice Up Jamaica. We'll give you tips, tidbits, and interviews about the revitalization and sustainability of the Jamaican spices, including ginger, turmeric, and pimento. That's Spice Up Jamaica every first and third Thursday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alvin McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM. Spice Up Jamaica is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food for Progress Jamaica Spices Project.
Whether I find a place in this world or never belong.
Thank you for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, and Miss Mervis is still holding the line. Barbara, regular listener, says, "You know, Sir Dervan, sorry to bother you, but listening to Miss Mervis, she is so truthful. There is evil forces, a monster, evil force running plenty of today's younger people, especially our young men, and nakedness of our women, shaking their butt and body, thinking this is so great. And those who hold and handle the guns, this evil that is taking away the love, kindness, family value, and marriages out of their heart and soul." She's absolutely correct. Always love to listen to her, Sir D, says Barbara Hart. Thank you for your message, Barbara Hart. All the very best.
But I think people need to them need to be truthful. They know it is happening, they see it happening, they are experiencing it, but they refuse to talk and accept that it is going so. When husband and wife begin to get married to them killing one another and children, it must be an evil influence in the place. You know, this young man that jumped from the place, he said I was put on psychiatric medication, but I never was taking them. Because when I take it, it makes me feel sleepy, make me feel drowsy, make me feel dizzy, make me lose control, can't make conscious decisions, reasoning. The medication messed me up. That's what he said, That's what he told the writer of the article, And I have met people like that. In fact, I'm dealing with that with some cases right now, like. But the medication is more messing them up than anything else. Mr. Paul H. Williams wrote the article in the Gleaner some time ago. So it is why people will not accept these things. It is unnatural. We weren't like that. We were poorer down the road and drive this big car and have these kind of holy things, but we weren't like this, Dervan. Eh? I don't know. I know you could walk on the wearing things on any hours a night. If a man see you on the road as a child, I'm going to walk into your gate. You know what I mean? We don't know this kind of a demonic raga something going on in the nation. We sing an anthem and it look like the devil really vexed with us to sing this anthem, The eternal Father bless land. But we must take a look at the pledge that we make. We're not paying attention to the pledge. And I am anxious to see what God is going to do come the 1st of November, because he said that generation he needs to save. They didn't start gun running, they didn't start scamming, they didn't start these things, they learned it from the adults. And he's very upset at what we have done with this generation. And I am anxious to see. I heard people talking on the program today about demanding. That's a word that came from John Williams on the station, demand. So we're not demanding. Well, God expects us in other way to demand. And tell the politicians what we need to happen. I heard a lady say it on the program, one of your program on your station the other day. So we need to demand, we need to tell the politicians get together and what we want, not is going to sit down. And I noticed the Delphi one talking about my prime minister. The Almighty tell me to tell them, stand up to them prime minister, to with prime minister. And we are paying him. I don't know my prime minister, this my prime minister that Jehovah Jireh, God of the national anthem, tell me to tell them to and up to them prime minister. And we appear the whole of them. And you say now that 1 year time for us to get up and tell these politicians, don't tell me nobody know enough money in Jamaica and Dervan. It comes like the whole of it dumb. You have to sell out everything and lease out everything. Eh? No, I don't accept that, you know, I don't idiot brown here. And a lot of sensible people in this country can change the nation and steam the education system. But who believe in us? Nobody believe in us Jamaicans. And when we start time we get up under him, international change will be by the people, through the people, for the people, under him, God, not under them political leader. Yeah? And when him done, him no want to hear from no political platform, no church organization, I put them tail in the ear to them do what? Him no let him not give him glory. When him do something and you start take the glory, him just spin it round back and show his hand and you do it. So I don't know him, I got influence, God, I got it. You see how the devil influence them? My Jehovah Jireh, God will create this world before none will come here. You see? When it take long to start, but when it starts, it's done same time. I am anxious to see what he's gonna do in this nation. So we better pull up with socks. We better be conscious that there's an evil force in here. We better turn our attention to the God of creation. If we not say nothing else to the rest of the month, people know witchcraft in enough and only African people work witchcraft. Every nationality. After the devil not care about anybody. Every nationality have them in a different way. You see them on the cable, same kind of something. It's a whole heap of witchcraft and evil in here. You see them if accident of bloodsuckers them. The Bible not tell about we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in a high places. It's in a Ephesians 6. And that the Bible can a spiritual go now. Spiritual wickedness in a high places, Dervan. Then demand a lot of blood sacrifice. And the people train at this organization and sacrifice all them family and they don't know. I have had to deal with it. Them in these organizations, then them used to carry on some ritual in the house. And the people don't know about the ritual, and when they call me, I realize that and have to give them something under the anointing from God to deal with it. These things I'm talking is not read them, you know. Experiences that we have over the years. It goes so. Pure witchcraft full up the place in every area I deal with it. In the bank, in the schoolroom, in the army, in the police force, all about the place. Come up on the hills and down at the... Let me tell you something, you see. May I beg Jamaican people turn from the Bible says well, it's a prayer. But it also says turn from your wicked ways, then will I. So we can pray as we like, one as we like, but it says and turn from the wicked ways, then will I. Thank you, Dervan. I don't know what happened to the phone line them days, you know. But as me say, it look like some demon must have try mess with your line. Because nobody you couldn't answer anybody from Miss Brown's program. And every time I listen to Miss Brown's program, I say, what wickedness. This education system has failed terribly. I was in it. No, the people were not educated for anything. When we listen to these things, Miss Brown saying, how can people do anything when them right, when them don't know not Dervan. Eh? Them something that makes every part of me hurt me. Because the poor people that never taught these things, that don't know these things. Until when certain things that man they go to certain places, they get to find out. The education system is sick. It is not preparing people to live in this world. No. The whole constitution they're talking about, I don't know all know what they're talking about, Dervan. Me don't know what they must about constitution, what they're putting in there. All. No. You see, me don't know who will write the constitution and for what. And it's too much lawyers in the House of Representatives. Long time he tell me so. Too much of them in there. And it's disgusting when a policeman get out here and do all we do and catch a criminal and lawyers going to court to let them go. Me in the from 2003 to 2010. The two different landlords will lie to the court. So I'm not talking what I don't know. And what happened to me personally. The court system wants a thorough clean up too. And so is the church. So not what we're talking about God, but we don't know have a clue what heaven is about. There's a kingdom up there that Jesus talk about. I mean, I beg the people with the denomination, we stop them denomination, God say, and talk about a kingdom that is organized like a government with different structures. With 316 national rubbish too much. And we not teach the people about God and the kingdom. And what the kingdom of God is. Jesus said, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom be done on earth as it is in heaven. That him come down here, man. Nothing more, nothing less. Bless up and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the Ms. Merbis. All the best. Take care. Barbara Hart says the churches are hiding. They only come out for peace breakfast with all of them at the Pegasus. Oh, yes, this is such a disgrace. Their voices have all gone under the cave, says Barbara Hart. Thank you for your message. Let's go to the phone lines once again, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Fine, thanks, Mr. James.
Yes, I would like you to look at the program going on next week and don't give one person such a overtime because you see, why you want to be good with your heart, other people are burning and wasting and can't give one person so much time. I don't think it's true. So I'm not telling you to run your program, but please look at it. Give me this person like that. Let me just quickly. In the PSO, there are people who try to do war under life emancipation with the independence. I don't know who wants us to get because I don't even know much danger because there are much more things here to be done than post allegiance to that minimum wage, domestic workers voluntarily. And the PSO down with themselves gonna ministry about people are going. When we have the people are finding because I have people working right now in the government for years and we're talking about what they have for finance. And these are important these are getting older, you know. So while we don't want to love anybody, we think they could think in a better way. But I was listening to a report on TV on Sunday. And the amount of lashes these people get lash in and lash out, you know. And most of them were security. Oh my God, man, it's very useful. And therefore, we need more soulful thinking people. We don't want nobody to come and match up the thing. And emancipation means suffering of the peace with independence, we get out of the queen and get rid of the queen. And you understand this, you know that. So, well, I don't want to work the program too long. I would just like to say that there was everybody in Jamaica in the government used to come out and spend. Public roads at that time. where farmers can come out. And when I was a young man, it was never like that. We had bad road, and we had some road there, and that was like young man. But I've never seen a government can have so much money and fail to carry out that campaign of road work, right? And I would just draw your attention to the static gully up there.
Hold a moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. Time is now
45. Here is a financial literacy tip from good friends at Power 106 FM. Save
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Thanks for holding.
Yes, I know you're busy. The man who called in the patrol that guy, I know maybe we should call the government to get out there sometime with that man with in the dead outside and get a team of people together and take pictures of the place and let the nation know what they plan to do and get to the family, a whole lot of money for the accident that, take care of the people. So, just saying that government needs to be more concerned, start to fix the road, man. When I was a boy, I would do something. Never tar, but they have the road and road it was roads so quickly, and we are now in 2024 and we can't give patrols on patrols. So, the good man, let somebody else come in.
All right. Thank you for the call. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still taking your calls at 876-922-4112 to 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. So let's keep those calls coming in and those messages as well. Here's another call online. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, yes. As quantum is very, very, what you say is the real thing, because it's like magician at work almost. When you look into some of the things that we are going, if you ever used to watch some show on television or something, this is a magician show, almost something like that are going within some part of the nation with some children, all types of people. Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, hearing
Yes,
every word.
yes, man. Something like a magician at work. Yes, and concerning the weather, yes, in Dervan, there is some chemical. One of them is like ammonia, and which ammonia is a thing where it disturbs the movement of the atmosphere and the movement of water. The movement of air and affect the movement of water. Ammonia is a thing like it build up of gas and it cause certain things to drive with speed. The air move with speed, water move with speed. That's why the coastline them then you have to put up with someone and call him a seaside to control the wave sometime. Now the atmosphere now, the ammonia atmosphere causes the wind to move boisterous. And so when you're hurricane, the more that's why me refer to the fact whereby when them going to have plane dropping bombs and then something, it build up certain ammonia and that drive the atmosphere to a disturbed level. And, and and it cannot do all sorts of things. Just like we say, I go in America now. Even category 5 hurricane. You never have a category 5 hurricane until war intensify now. And since war intensify, you have a category 5 hurricane. It's what I'm saying. Are you here?
Hearing you.
Yeah, man. So it's a fact whereby it's sure that the war that them fighting now, you have a relay system with the condensation whereby it move from one continent to one country to one country. And then now, because water has been upon earth since civilization, from earth. Our water was on the earth before. But it transforms itself and move itself from one place to the other through evaporation. So when it evaporates, then condensation takes place up in the atmosphere. But the level of condensation now, it can some petroleum product. When you throw petroleum product out of one, it's like one plastic bottle. And when it empty your car, the bottle draw up. The bottle draw up. See like when you see the bottle draw up, I say water just draw up in the atmosphere and just come down like a one pipe in some area. You know? And farm chemistry. So this chemistry some more. What is the time you talk with you can realize you can out of time now. More for everyone.
Sorry about that. Yes, thanks for the call.
All right.
All right. Take care. Thank you very much. This is both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Thank you again, Mr. McDonald, for sharing the information that you did. Cuban in Georgia says, Sir Malcolm, we pray for those neighbors in Florida, and not even 2 weeks after Helene. Sir Malcolm, if any guy feels it's right to bring back Black Africans in slavery, again, they made a wrong mistake, just as how the Maroons defeated the British colonists. This generation will do it again without fear or favor. So the PSOJ must come up with better ideas. They must know by this that we have deep ancestors' connections, even to the ones who were thrown into the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean in chattel slavery. We don't even care who the guy is. We will defend our ancestors' history and heritage. If you don't know where you're coming from, you will never know where to go. Sir Malcolm, why is Highway 2000, or I think you want to ask why isn't Highway 2000 lit? Why are we so docile? If there is no light on the road, we will have massive amounts or numbers of crashes. How can you tell there is a corner ahead, or is it that we're too cheap? Well, it's not unique to Jamaica. All over the world, there are countries that are only able to or see it necessary to put lights at strategic locations as opposed to trying to light the trying to bring a light the entire setting for miles. No, they tend to be a little more strategic, but we understand the point you're making, but which is why these vehicles are supposed to be functionally proper so that when motorists turn on their lights, then we are able to appreciate whether they were prepared for this or it's just a matter of testing a malfunctioning light. I'm just saying. It could be that. It could be that. But nobody sets out to sign off on a dark space to maneuver a motor vehicle. It's not something that someone sets out to do. Thank you for your message, though. And we see your message as well, Carol Boyd. Good afternoon to you. We haven't had the opportunity to give serious thought to your poem. I haven't been able to take it in, as we say in Jamaican parlance. But we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look. In the meantime, we thank you very much. And we thank you once again for the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 7th of October, 2024. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. All your piting or wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, or all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm on behalf of our program assistant, Adrian Reed. Thank you very much for the usual support behind the scenes. In the meantime, thank you very much for listening and watching, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon into evening. Take care.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now 5 o'clock. News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a sound Costco,
Bye.
bringing Jamaica's news at 5.